Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another event video here on Marvel Strike Force. Now, in today's video, we are going to be talking about Diamond Claws, and that's going to be the final event for the month of August. That's what I'm going to say. I mean, realistically, we're ending mid-month, but anyways, this is the end of this current 4-week cycle of events. We're going to do a little bit of a recap at the start, and then we're going to dive into Diamond Claws and what you need to do as best you can, free to play. And this one's going to be really important because there's a leaderboard attached to this. The leaderboards are alternating every 2 weeks, it seems. But what's interesting also is that they're pulling back from giving G19 minis from the leaderboard now in favor of purple ISO. Been chatting about this in my Discord that, if you didn't take advantage of these events over the last couple of months prior, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to get into Dark Dimension 7 now because you're not going to be getting these free sort of G19 minis because now we've moved on to purple ISO. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. Actually, before we get started, I wanted to talk very briefly about this weekend Arena Warriors event, and it just feels like a massive waste. I don't know, it's just me, so I'm working on this, right? So I did my one attack with Silver Surfer and with Ultimus, and actually, you know what? I forgot to do. I need to do 2 more really quickly because I'm about to have my daily reset. So to get all of these points, but you're probably only going to get to, or if you don't have Gladiator, of course, you're only going to get to milestone 11. Now, yeah, there's some decent like free orbs, but these orbs are garbage. Like, let's be real. Like, congratulations to any of you who have pulled like anything more than 10 or whatever the drops are. But realistically, like, these are hot garbage. They're also giving away awakened ability materials for Captain Britain, which honestly I'd rather have Scopely spit in my face because most of the people aren't going to have him unlocked and he's vaulted, so why the fuck do I need this anyways? Excuse my language. Still kind of salty about Captain Britain and all that, but the fact that they gave, the awakened ability for a character nobody's going to have, I just don't understand why they did this. And this is going to be every weekend, but realistically it's just going to be probably the next week it might be Gore's orbs instead like that. But these orbs are just hot garbage, and it just frustrates me, honestly. I know it's not their release method. However, when they have a drop of 1 Silver Surfer shard, and they kind of use the excuse that it's for new players when Silver Surfer's in the Blitz store, it really does piss me off. Okay, let's actually move on to the recap for the month of August. So this is the month long here, and we are going to be at a surplus of about 36,000 points. So that means that by the time, you clear the event, you do everything there is towards the end, this is how much extra that you'll have available to you, assuming that I added this up all correctly. Hopefully I did. But anyways, so this one isn't as good as previous months. So for July, we had a surplus of about 93,000. So it is a fair bit less. I think I may have missed some points in Adamantium is Forever. I actually skipped this event, kinda. I'm not sure if I will clear the 800,000, but that was my fault for doing that because I was hoarding campaign energy for so long for radioactive prep, which I believe Adamantium is Forever was also a campaign energy event, which is also what we're back around to on Diamond Claws. So we had 3 campaign energy events for August and 1 ISO 8 energy. We'll talk about this a little bit because I think it's quite interesting. I actually really quick want to go into the Alliance event first, which is the Isotope Illumination. And the reason why is because I don't actually recommend coring for this event. I don't recommend coring for any of the ISO 8 Alliance events because you need to save that ISO 8 energy for what's probably, or at least save your cores, towards what's probably going to be a event coming around the bend. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if next week it's an ISO 8 event, because they seem to be alternating more or less between regular energy and ISO energy. And so what you can do is you could at least, if you're not going to hoard, I don't necessarily recommending hoarding a ton of days of ISO 8 because it could impact your strike pass if you do more than a week. But what you could do is anyways, you could save these ISO packs. Don't spend them for this upcoming event and just save it for the next time that there is an ISO 8 main event, because I think that's going to be more important. And, I'll be honest, I haven't calculated it because I don't know, because we never know how many allied supply orb fragments we're going to get on the free claims. So I can't say that if you don't core at all, are you still going to get these 10,000 disco balls? I'm not 100% sure on that. But given the fact that there is a surplus of points for the month of August, I don't think that it's really that big of a deal to have a better heads up for the next time there's an ISO 8 Energy main event. But that's just my thoughts because we're kind of in this period of time where purple ISO is coming hard and fast on these events, and I want to do as good as possible on those. And I don't really care too much for the rewards on these alliance events, but that's just me. Let's jump on over to Diamond Claws though, over here. So Diamond Claws is a 7-day event that requires campaign energy, cosmic crucible, power cores, and for the web milestone you have to either blitz or spend incursion energy. It's very easy. The blitz portion is very easy. Like, it should be no problem for anyone. So the total milestone points required is 240,000. The event item is at 33k, which is very low, but it is milestone 12. Normally the event items like milestone 13, very rarely 4. It's usually 13 actually. So it's a bit lower down, and why that matters is because of where we might get to free to play. The total reasonable radioactive treats is about 90,000. It's a little bit less than last time, which is about 110k. So we're getting a little bit less on this leaderboard event as well, but still nonetheless, I don't know why I said less so many times. It's still important. Purple ISO is important, so this event is therefore important. There is, however, more treats at milestone 15 if you've hoarded or you have a lot of cores that you're going to spend on this event. We'll talk about that as well. And I want to kind of dive into this very quickly again too, because the sort of rewards that are on here, there is some T3 ISO 8 credits. These are just your generic orbs to, you can open whatever orb you want. So there's like one here, there's one here, and 2 here at milestone 15. So if you can get to milestone 15, you'll have like 4 orbs, which is not a lot, but you will get a bonus. If you get to milestone 15 because of hoarding or power core spending, you'll get 70,000 extra radioactive treats again as well. There's actually 2 mega gold orbs here at milestone 14, which I think should be, reasonable to get to, which isn't bad. I mean, you're probably just going to get 1,000,000 gold anyways, but hey, it's better than nothing, right? And then there is some T3 level 1 ions starting here at milestone 12. 15k, 20k, and 30k. So that's about 65k, which isn't a ton. There's a lot more in the leaderboard anyways, which I want to talk about there. So it depends on how far you're actually going to get here. But there's some decent stuff, and at this point, anything's better than nothing, isn't it? The leaderboard, of course, we have top 1k for Old Man Logan Diamonds. Not really going to touch on that, but I want to look at the top 10,000 in terms of the leaderboard payouts. You can see some dark diamond credits, but you can also see some T3 ISO 8 credits, which is for the orbs of your choosing, right? So 5 orbs here, 7.5, 10, and 15 orbs here at top 2,500. Now, most likely you're not going to... I found these to be super competitive. The radioactive prep leaderboard was very competitive. Like, I hoarded 10,000 energy, and I still didn't make top 2,500. So reasonably, for myself anyways, I'm probably going to be somewhere in the top 5k or top 7,500, even with some hoarding, because these seem to be super competitive these days. But you can also see the amount of T3 L1 purple ions that you can see, which is reasonable. It's 300k, but you don't actually get anything for less than this. So you really do want to shoot for top 10,000 if it's possible. If you've followed my videos and you've done some hoarding in advance and you have the power cores available to you, especially since they've upped the amount that you get on a daily basis. There is also radioactive treats, which you do get outside of the 10,000, but it's going to be a lot more, of course, in top 10k and above. Now, traditionally, top 10k is like 1 to 3%, essentially, but now there's greater breakdowns, for 7,500 and 5,000 as well, if you do want to push, or it can push a little bit further. So there's some scaling rewards there. Let's jump back to this. Here we go. So we don't know what the free claims is yet, of course. Total web milestones is 12,000 points. This is 8,000 direct milestone points plus 4,000 orb fragments. I don't know what's in this. It's like a midnight coalition orb. I don't remember. I think my data mine said something, but they're probably just related characters to something that's ongoing right now. Usually nothing crazy, and there's not that many orbs for you to open anyway, so it's not a big deal. This is easily done by 310 blitz battles over 7 days. This is like nothing. This is for people with 50 teams or even 50. It doesn't even have to be a real team because you just need to battle in blitz. You don't even need to win the blitz. So you just need to just click the button, right? And this is about like 1 blitz rotation or less over every single day. Or you could just do this in 1 day, honestly, and do this in like 6 rotations and you'd be done. Which is probably what I'm going to do in case I forget later on. And you don't even need to worry about spending incursion energy because the blitz portion is just so easy, unless, it's not how it's stated, but it should be. You're going to get 2 points per campaign energy spent. This one's a little bit disappointing because it's not a lot. And so for people who have hoarded, like myself, who's probably gonna, I'm by the time the event goes live, I'll probably have about 5,000 ish or a little bit more campaign energy. It's not a ton for a 2-to-1 payout. That being said, it's a leaderboard, and it's still at the end of the day going to be more than somebody else, right? And that didn't hoard. And so that's kind of the way I look at it, right? Like for someone who doesn't spend on events, this is my only way to get ahead still, even though the payout is not that good. The Battle in Cosmic Crucible part is 18 Cosmic Crucible attacks, so 1,000, obviously 6 per match. Or if you want to blow one entire trial, you could do it all in one day if you really wanted to. Spending power cores, you do get 5-to-1, and this is interesting because of the change of the payout to the game, right? And how we've had doubling of cores. And this, it kind of makes me wonder if they're pushing events in the direction of utilizing your power cores more than hoarding energy. Or you could do both, I guess, right? There's nothing stopping you from doing both. But I wonder if they're putting more emphasis on you spending cores rather than other things. And we won't know until we have data, because 5-to-1 is quite a bit. If it ends up being that way or more in future events, then that's interesting, right? Because then the question becomes, is it worth doing your 50 core refreshes for hoarding, or then just saving those cores and using it during the event cycle? And what I have, at least at 5-to-1, is still worth doing those 50 power core energy refreshes before the event to hoard. Even at 2-to-1, it's still worth it. But if the numbers change a little bit slightly, it might actually be more beneficial for you to start hoarding your power cores and not actually doing the hoarding, depending on what those numbers end up looking like. But we don't really know until we see the chart. So it's kind of hard to say. Even the data mines don't show this. Anyways, what you're going to do with your power cores, I mean, this can vary, right? You could use it for more campaign energy. Some people might spend it on gore orbs that are coming out, I believe, on Wednesday. And then I'm actually in the mythic section of Dark Dimension 7. So I may, in fact, use at least 250 cores a day to try and push my more days, right? More attacks in per day. And so that's something that I'll be doing and considering. So I don't know how much I'll be pushing into a campaign energy necessarily, but that would be the best double dipping, right? So if you are wanting to push this leaderboard a little bit more, you're going to spend your power cores to refresh, and then more on the campaign energy. You're going to get more than just direct spending of power cores, if that makes sense. So anyways, campaign energy, this is your 1,100 that you get roughly per day, times it by 2 with the point payout. That gives you 2,200-ish, and then over 7 days, about 15.5 thousand. Now, from those 200 cores daily that you just did for this, you're going to get 7,000 more points just from your power core spending. Okay, so that's going to be your 200 per day times 5 points times 7 days, 7,000 points. Those are the light blues, of course, which is going to get added to the reasonable total at the end. Now, if you do 400 cores daily, this can be for whatever reason you want. If you're doing it for campaign energy, or if you're doing it for something else, or maybe you're refreshing the store, or whatever, that's about 18,872 points. From the energy, if you're doing 400 cores into energy, and then also instead of the 15.5, and then 14,000 directly, because you're doubling, obviously, your power core expenditure. So I do have two scenarios here. One where if you're doing 200 cores daily into energy, and one if you're doing 400 cores daily into energy, and the difference is like one milestone. So milestone 14 versus milestone 15 here, which is the reasonable points for 200 and 400 cores daily. I'm not going to really go much beyond this, because I don't think at this point I don't want to expect that. It's probably, I'm just going out on a limb, that it's probably an extra 10,000 if you're going to go up to 600 cores daily, so probably about 72,000. I don't think that gives you an extra milestone, though, so I do want to check that out actually on the board here really quick. So milestone 14 is 52k, milestone 15 is 65k, and milestone 16 is 81,000, which is good because it has 110k radioactive treats. But I don't know if you're actually going to get there, because 81,000, even if you did 600 cores daily, even with the free claim, I don't think you're actually getting there. You'd have to spend more cores on top of that. But if that's a milestone that you want to get to, milestone 16 would be a good goal. If you have that much power cores saved up, that you could bridge the gap with about another 3,000 power cores and 600 cores daily, that kind of thing. So if you really want to push it, there's actually some reasonable stuff there. 110,000 radioactive treats and 40,000 purple ions there as well. So it's not a terrible milestone, but I don't have that much power cores to spend for this. So I'm probably going to end up doing the 400 cores daily. I think that's where I'm going to land because I do want to get some more radioactive treats and I do want to push the milestones. So that's kind of what I'm looking at anyways for myself. Some final notes. The easiest way to earn more points in this event, free to play, will be double dipping your power core usage, either through more campaign energy spending or through the purchase of gore orbs later on in the event. And power core spending is weighted heavily in this event to reach further milestones and higher on the leaderboard. This is no surprise given that they doubled the recent power core intake in Arena. So how you want to spend your power cores is going to be up to you. But obviously, I would recommend either spending it on energy or using it on gore orbs, unless you have some other reason to spend your power cores. But anyways, that's going to be it for today and for this Diamond Claws event. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below and what you're going to be using your power cores on. Are you going to be saving to unlock gore? How many power cores do you have? I'm actually surprisingly not doing very well, but that's because I'm like almost done Dark Dimension 7. And I'm kind of pushing that along a little bit more. That's the end of this video, everyone. And of course, the tables will be live on Monday at Store Reset on my Discord server where I do push that out. So make sure you're keeping attentive over there. If you haven't joined the Discord server, make sure you do. And you'll find all the updates there as well. So that's the end of this video, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend. And until next time, stay safe and healthy. And I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.